Too fast, too dangerous. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Barcelona have reached an agreement to recruit Anthony Gordon from Newcastle United in a deal that has stunned Europe. In just a few short days, the Camp Nou home team has completed almost the entire negotiation process with a fixed transfer fee of up to €70 million, not including about €10 million in surcharges. Gordon is expected to fly to Barcelona tomorrow for a medical examination and sign a long-term contract, opening an ambitious new chapter under the Hansi Flick reign. What shocked people was not only the huge amount of money but also the speed at which the deal was completed. Barcelona almost acted in silence, not giving any opponent time to react. The Premier League teams and Bayern Munich were all just watching when Barca slammed the door, with an offer that Newcastle could hardly refuse. Blaugrana elites understand very well that if they wait a few more weeks, the battle for Gordon could turn into a crazy auction and the price would be pushed even higher. But the biggest question right now is, why did Newcastle agree to sell Anthony Gordon, one of their most important stars? The answer lies in the wounds that the team in northeast England has experienced during the past two turbulent seasons. Newcastle never wanted to turn themselves into a supermarket that sells stars, especially when their ambition to compete for the title is still burning. But modern football has never operated on emotions. Mistakes in the transfer market, combined with pressure from financial fairness laws, are forcing them to change their thinking. The aftershocks from Alexander Isak's departure still haunt St. James's Park. That was a shocking deal when the Swedish striker almost went on strike to force the club to sell him to Liverpool for about £125 million. Newcastle then fell into a state of panic. They are pressured to find a replacement spent hastily like gamblers desperately trying to get out of trouble. As a result, the squad becomes patchy, unbalanced and lifeless. Consecutive failed markets have made Newcastle understand that they cannot continue to hold on to their stars until their value declines. Club insiders believe that this is the most appropriate time to sell Gordon, when his value is at its maximum. The money collected will become a vital budget source for a comprehensive overhaul from the defense to the midfield, even the goalkeeper position in the near future. As for Barcelona, the reason they rushed into this deal is almost beyond debate. The Catalan team is extremely thirsty for a fast, energetic winger who fits perfectly with Hansi Flick's high-intensity pressing philosophy. Marcus Rashford was once seen as a firefighting solution last season, but his unstable performance and huge salary made Barca's leadership begin to balk at the idea of a buyout. Anthony Gordon appears as a much more perfect solution. Barca sees more than just a winger in Gordon. They see a true, pressing machine. A player who can work tirelessly on both sides of the ball, constantly suffocating opponents with his speed and aggressive off-the-ball movements. This is the type of player that Flick absolutely loves, because he believes that technical stars like Lamine Yamal will be maximized if they are surrounded by mobile and energetic satellites. In the eyes of Barcelona's elite, Gordon is like the missing piece to complete the new attack system. A warrior ready to rush into space, stretch the opponent's defense and create space for the artists behind. Of course, Newcastle fans will have very complicated feelings when they see Gordon leave. There were days when he played like a real monster. Wind-breaking acceleration phases, his crazy pressing ability and fiery fighting spirit make him the soul of Chicho's playing style. In the Champions League this season, Gordon exploded violently with 10 goals and 2 assists, becoming one of the most dangerous players in the tournament. But the Premier League tells a completely different story. Inconsistency is Gordon's biggest problem. There were matches when he drove the opposing defense crazy, but there were also periods when he almost disappeared completely. This season in the Premier League, he only scored 6 goals, including 3 penalties, and 2 assists after 26 matches. The numbers are not enough for the stature of a top superstar. However, Barcelona believes that the problem is not entirely with Gordon, but also with Newcastle's deadlocked system. They believe that if placed in a more dominant, creative and open ball control environment, Gordon will explode in a way the Premier League has never seen. The scariest thing about Gordon is not the number of goals, but the ability to penetrate extremely directly. He is the type of player who is always ready to rush straight into deep defenses, something that has caused Barca headaches for many years. Gordon's statistics for successful dribbles per 90 minutes are among the highest in Europe, and that is what makes Flick particularly convincing. Another very interesting detail is that Gordon doesn't just play on the wing. This season's heat map shows that almost half of his minutes were spent as a left-sided center forward. That opens up the possibility that Barca will use him as a rotation option for the number 9 position after the departure of Robert Lewandowski. And that is also when Marcus Rashford's future becomes extremely fragile. Gordon's appearance is like a direct blow to the English striker's hope of staying at Camp Nou. Although Hansi Flick still appreciates Rashford thanks to his 14 goals and 14 assists this season, many senior figures within Barca are skeptical. They think that Gordon is younger, more energetic, more tactically appropriate and especially saves a lot of salary funds. Barcelona now has until June 15 to decide whether to activate Rashford's buyout clause worth about €30 million or not. But with what's going on, the door for Rashford is gradually closing. Of course, the Gordon deal also raises a huge question: where will Barca get the money? This is the part that surprises many people the most. Although Gordon's transfer fee is up to €70 million, Barcelona believes that the actual financial impact of this deal is not too different from buying Rashford outright. The reason is because Gordon accepts a significantly lower salary and Barca can spread the transfer costs evenly thanks to the long-term contract. In addition, the club is extremely optimistic about the financial situation this summer. The gradual reopening of Camp Nou, the sharp increase in VIP revenue, and the departure of high-paid players like Lewandowski help them believe that La Liga will allow operations according to the one-for-one-inch rule, that is, how much salary fund is saved will be allowed to be used entirely to register new recruits. If that becomes a reality, Barca will have the most comfortable summer since 2022. And Newcastle, they are standing at the crossroads of life and death. Gordon's departure not only took away a star, but also forced the club to prove that they were wise enough to rebuild. In the past, Newcastle have been very bad at selling people and procuring replacements. But now they have no choice but to become colder, sharper and more calculating. They need to recreate the cunning that helped bring in bargains like Bruno Guimaraes, Kieran Trippier, Dan Burn or Isak in the early stages of changing ownership. If they fail, Newcastle risks falling behind in the fierce Premier League race. But if successful, the Gordon deal could become the start of a comprehensive rebirth. As for Barcelona, this could be the opening shot for a crazy summer of transfers. A summer where Hansi Flick wants to turn Camp Nou into the most fearsome pressing machine in Europe. And Anthony Gordon may be the first card of that revolution.